It's time for yet another exciting edition of News Generation. I hope you've had a great week so far. My name is Faustina Safo, and coming up in this week's edition, we'll take you to the streets of Accra to learn some of the reasons behind the names of shops. Also, over 200 experts from Ghana and 6 other countries converge in Accra for a digital reading summit. And police arrest a high school teacher for kidnapping 15-year-old student in Northern California. You don't want to miss any of this. You're watching News Generation. Do stay.
We all know how important good nutrition is to grow up big and strong. Not only is cowbell milk enriched with 28 vitamins and minerals, it's also boosted by the 5 most important vitamins, which we call Vita-Rich.
It's got vitamin A for good eyesight development. It's got vitamin C to help fight infections. It's got vitamin D and calcium to help build strong bones and teeth. It's got vitamin E to help with body protection. And it's got vitamin K for general well-being and immunity.
For good health and vitality, only cowbell with Vita-Rich puts you on the fast track.
Welcome back from the break. Remember, you can be part of our online family on Facebook at News Generation GH and on Twitter at NewsGenGH. Send your comments and we'll be sure to reply them and, if possible, read them live on air. Well, now the aim of every entrepreneur is to maximize sales while yielding good returns. Here in Accra, small-scale vendors, in a bid to get customers, choose different shop names that define services they render. What is surprising, however, is the comical way some vendors decide to choose these names. I paid some of these vendors a visit to find out why did they choose those kind of names. Watch this. Some names mirror religious belief and echo the workings of a greater power, like Yehowa Dromunawoyo, meaning living under the grace of God, and Yame Peme Enterprise, meaning God loves me. Others carried some sort of advice like all shall pass and no condition is permanent. Even as some business owners managed to infuse their names in their store signage like Court Mary Enterprise and Pokua's World, others like Great Eagle Never Fails Enterprise, Big Boy Kulo, Two Sisters Enterprise and Best Man Global Merchants were simply hilarious. Curious, I wondered what inspired their choice of name. Barakisu Rashid Abbas owns Fabric Worms.
We chose the name because we deal in fabrics, different kind of fabrics, and then Worm, actually we're looking for something to combine to make it rhyme. And then as we were discussing, our younger brother came with the name Fabric Worm. So we thought it was cool for people to remember and easier to say it. So that's why we chose it.
Deborah Owusu-Mensah sees differently. With the name of a shop, she hopes to portray the beauty in embracing our African heritage.
I chose the name Pokua's World is because that is what people know me by. I'm a Pokua, so I thought it would be best that I use my name so that people will know that, okay, this is her shop and her name is Pokua, because I think Pokua is an African name, and I think it is good that we use our African names for our shops because we are Africans, not use any foreign names. And Pokua defines me. It actually says a lot about my family because most of my family members are called Pokua.
Either religious, comical or classy, do the names of shop influence customers' patronage?
Before buying something at the shop, not really, provided I can get what I want from the shop.
If I'm going to buy something at the supermarket and I see Satan shop, I'll be like, what product do they sell? Do I even need those products? You get me? But I'll just look at the name. The names will attract me. The name of the shop will attract me to get into the shop to buy. But if I see the name that is too complex and even satanic in nature, I'll be scared to go inside to buy any product from there.
Yeah, sure. I'll take into consideration. In a sense that, assuming I'm going to buy something, I see on the shop they've written, let's say, Bonsambeba or some demonic names. Automatically, I will not enter because I know that some strange things are happening in there.
Well, all shall pass. Well, it's quite funny though, but you must give it to them. They are very encouraging when you pass through some of these vendors. Well, moving on, over 200 experts from Ghana and 6 other countries are in Accra for the 7th Digital Reading Summit. The summit, organized by World Readers, brings together educators, educational administration, African publishers and partnering organizations working together to expand the access to digital reading. This year's summit is on the theme The Power of Digital Learning, how communities can harness mobile technology and digital reading to promote continuous learning. Our reporter Dorcas Bedu was there and she comes through with this report.
World Reader is a global non-profit organization on a mission to create a world where everyone is a reader. World Reader provides children, students and their families free access to its huge digital library. Using e-readers, mobile phones and other digital technology, World Reader has reached readers in over 55 countries, providing them with 42,899 book titles in 43 languages from Kiswahili to Hausa. In Ghana, World Reader works with 61 schools and 7 community libraries and have impacted over 17,400 active readers by providing 6,849 devices, delivering over 1 million books. Colin McElwee is the co-founder of World Reader.
It was just based on a simple idea between 2 guys that worked in business for a long time. We just joined up the dots of books, digital books, communication, mobile telephony and mobile phones and devices that are already all across the developing world, and there are billions of these devices, there are billions of books out there and there's a lot of connectivity, and so this is a way to get books to places where paper wouldn't otherwise get to.
On mobile phones restrictions in schools as a limitation to World Reader, Colin McElwee appealed to educationists to reconsider.
If you look at this in a sort of holistic way, that child grows up in a household that has a mobile phone. That is to say, that child has access to books outside of school. The school system, in a sense, what we're doing is almost by osmosis preparing the school system to say, one day, the only place you can't get a book in the village is in the school. What are you going to do at that point? And school, we're pressurizing the school system, in a sense, to think ahead, think 5 years out from now and say, what type of device mechanisms do they need in the schools so that this is seamless, so kids and young people, in fact anybody, can have access to books, not just outside of school like they do right now on World Reader, on the World Reader app, but also inside of schools.
He describes how you can access the application.
On any mobile phone, you just go to the web browser and you put in read.worldreader.org and you can access 45,000 books. If you have an Android phone, we have an app that you can just go to the Play Store, look for World Reader and you'll download it in 15 seconds and you're ready to go. Remember, those books don't reside on your phone. They reside in the cloud, highly compressed data most of the time.
The communication director of World Reader, Julian Bend, said World Reader seeks to inculcate the habit of e-reading into young people.
Into this brand new world for publishing. We've had thousands of years of printing things on paper, and we know how to do that. And we know how to digitize things and how to push them out, but there's always opportunity to do it better and to reach more people and to figure out how for a country and for a world that has not been reading books on phones or books on e-readers for very long, how do we develop these cultures of reading? So exchanging those ideas is going to be another critical piece of this.
He said, though there are some challenges, they have put measures in place to help solve them.
Connectivity is a big issue. So is the cost of data. These are challenges we certainly face, but they're challenges that are moving in the right direction because connectivity is just increasing and the cost of data is declining. And meanwhile, what we're trying to do to make it even easier is a few things. One, we are constantly optimizing our app to decrease the data usage involved, and it's really very lightweight. And it's designed with low bandwidth settings in mind, so the amount of data that you need to download a book is small. Two, we've partnered with Facebook and their Free Basics program to provide access to the World Reader Library free of data charges to people on certain networks.
Some of the participants had this to say.
First, it was a very difficult task to teach child how to read using the paper, and also children at that level find it difficult to read, and then more so to paper books were not there. And then with the help of Savannah Education Trust and that of World Reader, we now have textbooks available in the e-readers, and more books are there for teachers and students to resource and then to learn from. So now it has made books are available for children and that of the teachers.
Well, you know, with our system of education, we hardly get storybooks. Textbooks are always kept in the school. We could not take them home. But since we had the e-reader, first we were doing the individual model. That was when the kids had to take the devices home, keep it and bring it to school. So that was the time that we really had the interest growing up in the children. With the textbooks that are not to be taken home, you cannot give assignments, especially when you're teaching English language, like a passage to be read and then answered to be brought to school the next day. You don't have that opportunity. So when we had the e-readers, we could ask them, go and read the story tomorrow. We'll do a test on it, or I'll give you a short exercise on that.
In Ghana like this, in terms of content, apart from English content, you are not able to do well with other contents. But for example, World Reader, you can put local contents on it, and they will take it. Also, I look at terms of depth, in terms of cost reduction. So all you need to do is to put together your publishers or your authors, your writers, and they come together. And then you just give the data to them, they go and digitize it and put it online for you. And doing that, what you would have done in marketing, going around the country for people to see your books, they do it free for you, so online, anybody can access any part of the world.
Amazing what technology can do. Well, issues of child marriage and teenage pregnancy have become foremost in the fight for equality for women in the society. According to UNICEF's States of the World Children Report 2016, 21% of Ghanaian girls are married off before their 18th birthday, though a significant decline from previous years when it was high as 39%. The statistics is still worrying. There's more in this report.
There has been heightened interest in recent years amongst all actors, including civil society organizations and government, to tackle the phenomenon of child marriage. And though recent data shows the practice is on the decline, 1 in 5 young women still get married before the age of 18. Speaking at the 23rd Zonta International District 18 Conference, First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo said although government has done a considerable amount of work in the area, there is still a lot more work to be done, and urged all women to join the fight.
Fought human trafficking in Nepal, campaigned against obstetric fistula in Ethiopia and Liberia, helped in reducing child marriage and supported women's full economic participation in Niger, awarded scholarships for women in science and business studies, and campaigned to stop violence against women. In Ghana, you have consistently awarded scholarships to girls from poor homes who excelled in science and maths, and I note with pride that these girls are now doctors, engineers, and researchers. You have also rehabilitated the Boston Institute for Girls, established reading clubs, and promoted safe motherhood. Again, an impressive record by Zonta Ghana. I'm truly impressed not only with your achievements in the past, but with your continued support for humanity, particularly women and girls. You could not have done all this without the massive membership of Zonta worldwide. 30,000 members in 66 countries, all working to improve the lives of women and girls. I congratulate Zonta International for this. Ayeko.
Zonta Conference Coordinator Opebia Omabo said the conference is a great avenue for stakeholders to discuss ways in which the practice and occurrence of teenage pregnancy and child marriage can be reduced and eventually stopped.
This is a time for us all to come together to make the voices of the different women represented in the different countries and under the different conditions to come together and to address their issues that pertain to their interests. So this is a forum for us to come together as Zontians to address the issues. And like the speakers rightfully said, we should all be doers of the word. I mean, and spreaders spread the goodwill and act towards ensuring that it's not just coming to sit here to talk, and it's not just a platform to talk, but it is an organization like Zonta that is championing the cause and improving the lives of women.
The conference brings together over 200 like-minded organizations from across the continent to push the fight against discriminatory practices against women.
There's more news in local news round. The Accra Regional Police Command has retrieved 500 rounds of ammunition from Agbogloshi here in Accra, where violent clashes claimed 2 lives last week. The ammunition was retrieved in a disarmament drive launched last week following the clash. Public Relations Officer for the Accra Region Command, ASP Fiatenge, announced at a news conference 2 suspects, Imaro Abdul and Kweku Amankwa, were arrested on Tuesday and are assisting police with investigations. Government says 560 excavators used in illegal mining have been abandoned at Galamsey sites following government's 21-day ultimatum to those engaged in the illegal trade to stop the operations. The Lands and Natural Resource Minister, who took some journalists round to some of the mining sites to see some of the equipment, says government will follow through with plans to see a complete end to Galamsey. We're taking this quick break, and when we come back, we have more in store for you, so do stay.
We all know how important good nutrition is to grow up big and strong. Not only is cowbell milk enriched with 28 vitamins and minerals, it's also boosted by the 5 most important vitamins, which we call VitaRich.
It's got vitamin A for good eyesight development. It's got vitamin C to help fight infections. It's got vitamin D and calcium to help build strong bones and teeth. It's got vitamin E to help with body protection. And it's got vitamin K for general well-being and immunity.
For good health and vitality, only cowbell with VitaRich puts you on the fast track.
Welcome back from the break. Remember, you can join our conversations online at News Generation GH on Facebook and at NewsGen GH on Twitter. Now, International Mother Earth Day is celebrated to remind each of us that the earth and the ecosystem provides us with life. The theme for the 2017 edition is Environmental and Climate Literacy. The day provides an opportunity to raise public awareness around the world to challenges regarding the well-being of the planet and all life that it supports. Well, we bring you a video on how you can help protect your planet right here. The president of Ashesi University, Patrick Ewua, is advocating for a reduction in the number of subjects that candidates write for Basic Education and Certificate Examination (BECE). According to Mr. Patrick, the current system allows too many subjects, which makes exams unproductive. Now, do you share in Patrick's idea or view? You've been sharing your view with us on WhatsApp.
I agree with his notion. I think our sisters in JHS and NSHS, because they read, they are more. This puts pressure on them like a student at JHS reading 8 subjects. I think it's more. It should be limited. It should be cut. Like it should be like 4 subjects. If that were enhance them to read, to perform well in class. But if it's 8, the student will find very difficult, like each day read 1 subject, like it's 8 subjects, which he can't acquire more knowledge in 1. So he has to be postponing to read all the 8. But if it's 4, this will enhance him to learn, for him to perform more in class. I think it should be limited, and then I agree with this notion.
It's a laudable idea because, I mean, the lesser the subjects, the more they can concentrate better, understand? But when the subjects are too many, it means you have to apportion your time in such a way that you can be able to learn all the subjects. For example, if there are 10 subjects, you could imagine how you're supposed to go about learning them. But if it's being reduced to 4 or say 5, I think it's better, but it should just be practical, you understand? Because, I mean, we are all students and we don't actually like always reading. It makes it so theory, okay? But when you're supposed to, when you get the practical aspect of it, it makes learning very easy, you understand? Yeah, so I believe if the subjects are reduced to like 4 or say 5, it will be better. It will make them concentrate and learn more.
Yeah, I think he's on point because in my understanding, I realize we learn a lot of chaff from the GHS level right down to the university level. It's about time we specialize. You get me? We specialize the things you want to learn, the things whatever you want to be. You start from the scratch, and then you improve upon it. But you're learning a lot of things. It will get the person to deviate from at the point in time. You get me? So specialization. We get the person what he or she wants to do. We take the person through the right channels. Specifically that channel, and then we make sure the person is where he or she is. It should be simple.
Yeah, he's right, because if the subjects are many like that, learning becomes a problem. And even if they will have to learn that number of subjects, it has to be practical, so that like they were able to capture things, understand things very fast. By so doing, exams won't be a problem, they'll just pass easily.
It's a good call, and then basically go to the business field or the practical field. What we do here mostly is that what we learn in school are not really practiced in the offices. And so I think after the basic subjects, say the English language, we should reduce the number of subject for the students to be able to learn.
Yes, I agree to that, because you see, in this modern generation, children learn things quickly and easy. Like they like learning easy things. So you increasing the number of subjects now, it will make their workload too much, because sometimes when they go home they have other things to do. So the little subjects that they have to learn, they can learn it well, and then when it's time for them to write their examination, do it and then pass it well. Because when you take the university, for instance, I'm a weekend student. So when in a year we have about 10 or 11 courses. But I ask myself, it's not all the subjects that I'm able to learn when I get home, because after work I'll come, I'm very tired. So if these subjects are reduced to, let's say, 3 or 4, when I come home during the weekend, I can take 2 subjects to learn. But if there are more, I'll find it very stressful and very tiring to take those subjects to learn, and which will have effect on my examination.
It depends. You can decrease the number of subjects and the students will still not perform, because depends on the background and how the teachers are teaching in the school. The subjects can be at the same level, but students will still not perform. It can be reduced and they can still perform. Depends on the teachers and the background that they are coming from.
Let's check out what else has been making headlines around the world in international news round. A policeman has been shot dead and 2 others wounded in central Paris, with suspected attacker killed in security forces. Police say the gunman opened fire before being killed as he fled the scene. President Franco Hollande is convinced the attacker was terrorist-related. So-called Islamic State said that one of its fighters had carried out the attack. Several candidates in Sunday's presidential election have ended their campaign early as a mark of respect. The Cameroonian government has announced that internet services will be restored to the country's Anglophone regions after 3 months of no access to the internet. Some activists, as at Thursday evening, confirmed that their internet services were back as promised by the government. Others, however, choose to wait till they can personally verify the return. Government statement announcing the restoration of the internet was signed by Communications Minister Issa Bakari, but there was a warning that they reserve the right to put people offline if they misused it. A former high school teacher who is accused of kidnapping a 15-year-old student was arrested in North California on Thursday after more than a month on the run. The world is talking about 50-year-old Tad Cummins. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation received the tip at around 11 p.m. Wednesday, and the caller pointed authorities to a cabin in Ciceville, a rural area near Oregon border with no cell service. TBI Public Information Officer Joshua Devine said the caller hinted 15-year-old Elizabeth Thomas and her former teacher, 50-year-old Tad Cummins, may have been leaving the cabin for a week and a half. Acting on the tip, Siskiyou County authorities located Cummins' vehicle early on Thursday morning and dispatched a special team response that found the pair several hours later. He will be brought before the court this week before being deported to his hometown. In a press conference on Wednesday afternoon in Nashville, Jack Smith, the acting U.S. attorney for the Middle District of Tennessee, said his office would add a federal charge against Cummins for transportation of a minor across state lines with the purpose of having criminal sexual intercourse. The federal charge carries a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. Sad, but we have to go. It's been another exciting edition of News Generation, and I'm sure you've learned a lot of new things, right? So jump on our social media platform on Facebook at News Generation GH and on Twitter at NewsGenGH. We'd love to hear from you. From myself and my production crew, I say adios.
Supported by Cowbell with Vitarid.